It's time to panic. What sellers need to know right now. If you have been following YouTube videos, if you follow the news, you are seeing some scary headlines. I'm telling you, these are really scary. And I'm looking at them thinking, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. The market is crashing. And then I was like, wait a second. I'm a real estate agent. I should know if the market is falling. I should know if it's crashing. So I thought, wow, look at these views on some of these videos. I mean, we're talking millions and millions of views on these videos. And I thought, are these people really telling everybody the sky is falling? Is that really what's going on? Is that what's happening in your local market? So in today's video, I'm going to go in and tell you exactly what I think about all of these clickbait videos that are telling you the sky is falling. Maybe they're right. Maybe you do need to pay attention, but maybe you're in better shape than you think. So let's get into it.
I expect a crash. I mean, maybe 80-90% decline in real estate prices in terms of actual money, real money.
Holy cow, 80 to 90% of a home value is lost? I mean, I couldn't really quite understand that. I had to even ask around and really didn't quite understand exactly what that means. Does that really mean your home is going to be worth 80 to 90% less than what it's worth right now? That is not what I am seeing at all. Now, maybe somebody can explain to me exactly what he's talking about, but that's what I'm talking about, is that some of these videos are putting this up front to get you to click on them, to get you to feel like, holy cow, the sky is falling. Homes are never going to sell again. Even being in the real estate industry, I am not quite sure what this guy is actually talking about. Now, the video is good. I have to say, this is a pretty good video. I liked it a lot, but that comment,
80-90% decline in real estate prices in terms of actual money.
I need a little more elaboration on, because what I'm seeing from a local level is homes are not crashing 80 to 90%. So the first thing I want you to do is just take a deep breath. Okay, we're going to go into a little bit more, but just take a deep breath and I'm going to walk you through this all the way to the end.
Do you believe we can have a soft landing?
No, it's impossible. People have to realize the enormity of this bubble. There is not a comparable bubble in real estate. This is going to be worse than the crash before, and it's going to be way worse than the real estate crash in the Great Depression.
Oh my gosh, for real? This is going to be the biggest crash ever? So again, really well done video, a lot of good information in there, but that is done at the very, very front of the video so that you are grabbing it, you are doing clickbait. I mean, look at how many views this video actually has. And that was after only a couple of weeks with it running. I mean, this is crazy, crazy views for these. And people are getting scared and they're getting nervous. And that's what I'm hearing from my viewers as well. So now let me really, really dive into it. Are these things really happening? So I started to dig in on my research as well. I mean, I only know my local markets. I only know the markets where I'm talking to other agents. So I found an article, when will the housing market crash? So what is a housing market crash? It's typically defined by a rapid decline in values leading to a peak to trough fall of 20% or more. So let me tell you a couple other things I found in this article, and I'll tell you if this is also what I'm seeing at a very local level. Institutional investors entering the single-family rental market help give birth to single-family built-for-rent homes. Now, I will tell you, this is actually true. This is actually a real situation that was happening a couple of years ago. There were companies that were buying up small homes, and what they were doing is they were going to real estate agents and saying, if you have a renter with a credit score of at least 580, they will purchase the home and then have that person as a tenant, and they will pay rent to the institutional investor. So basically, as a real estate agent, it was a very, very easy way to get a tenant into a home. Now, there are lots of ramifications from what happened here. And these agents were all going out, taking these tenants, getting them a home that they could rent. And then these companies started to own these homes. These companies were bidding the market up. And the reason they were is because they could pay cash. So they had no mortgage contingencies. And a lot of regular homeowners could not get these homes. So while yes, the tenants, the renters were able to get really solid, good housing, it did eliminate the ability of a lot of regular homeowners, first-time home buyers, to get the properties because they were losing out in multiple bids. So in reality, that is true. That is what I really feel was kind of the start of home prices surging, is there was a lack of inventory because these institutional investors we're picking up a lot of homes. So let me kind of continue on a little bit with this and see if this is all right too. More millennials will continue to add to the pent-up demand for housing. So yes, I mean, this is what I'm seeing. I am seeing that there are a lot of buyers out there. Now, the real issue is the affordability of the homes. Are these people able to get homes that are within their budget? I would say for a lot of them, no. And the reasons is because the mortgage rates are really high. There's a lack of inventory, which means prices are going up. The cost of insurance is going up and property taxes are really going up. So these people really are out there, but they are still sort of on the sidelines waiting for more affordability. So there are still buyers out there. Absolutely 110%. So you can see what this article does really say. A national housing crash is unlikely. So really, I mean, this article I found amongst all of the other articles that said the housing market was crashing, this one is saying that it's really not probably likely. So I want to talk about what I'm seeing at a really local level. Now, I'm selling real estate daily in Illinois and in Florida. I'm talking to agents across the country, really a lot of agents about their individual markets. And I'm trying to find out, are we seeing the same things? Are you feeling a crash? And we're really not feeling that as of this moment. It's not feeling like a crash. It does feel a little bit like it might be a little stagnant, just a touch stagnant, where we're not seeing the multiple offers that we were seeing before. We're not seeing the number of buyers coming out to the homes. Now, the summer months can be sort of up and down depending. And in August, it's really hard to decide what it's going to look like going into September and October. August is a really difficult month because you have a lot of people traveling, getting back into schools, and it's sort of like a reset time. In addition, we're looking at possibly interest rates going down in September. Now, that could be another surge in property values because as homes become more affordable, which I talked about a little bit earlier, which is why people are on the bench, as they become more affordable, they will come out and they will purchase homes. So while we're feeling it's kind of stagnant right now, I feel like we need to sort of get over that hump, get to possibly the next interest rate drop a little bit. I do think we're going to be seeing a little bit of a buyer surge at that point going into the fall of 2024. The other thing that we really are having a hard time figuring out is the commission structure. I do not know how that's going to affect the market. I'm hearing from many sellers and many buyers a lot of misinformation. And the misinformation is that sellers believe that they don't have to pay out a buyer commission when they're selling their homes. Now, they don't have to. However, they may need to in order to sell their homes. I was talking with an agent who said basically nothing's going to change for them. She said they are in a market where they get a lot of people moving into. It's in Colorado. And she said, listen, I'm a tour guide for 3 days. And she said, these buyers are looking at Colorado and they're looking at Utah. She said, so when they're coming into town and I have to show them 15 homes and we have 35 homes on the market, she said, and I'm a tour guide, I don't want to go through the whole thing about the commission. And they don't either. They're not going to agree to pay on top of what they're paying when they already have a lot of inventory to look at. And the point is that they are not even decided upon which town they want to be in, which state they want to be in. So for those agents, they have to say to their sellers, listen, if you choose not to pay out a buyer's agent, that's fine. You can do that. But you have to make sure that you understand in your local market if that is going to affect you. Is that going to affect you and how you sell the home? It may. And it may not, but that's why you need to talk to a local agent on the ground. If you can't get an agent who's talking to you about this honestly, you really, really need to talk to a couple of agents. And you guys know you can always reach out to me if you need an agent, but you have to be understanding the situation because this is a very, very confusing new rule that is in place for us agents. And the one thing I know for sure is none of us have gone through this already. So if you're hearing an agent telling you this is exactly how it is, you need to get some other opinions. Absolutely. No question. So as I was saying on the local level, I am seeing things soften up a little bit. In the Florida market, it's definitely softened up for sure, no question. You also have the condo market in Florida really, really softening up. And you're seeing a lot of HOAs go up. You're seeing the insurance go up drastically where people feel they need to let go of a lot of their condos for sure in Florida. So the Florida market is feeling it a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be that way in a year or in 2 years. So I don't want you to panic because of this moment. Also, what I've noticed in the Florida market is you have a lot of people who are letting go of their condos because they cannot afford any special assessments that the HOAs are putting onto them in order to make sure their condo is in good condition. So a lot of people are dumping their condos right now. So yes, but I'm telling you, hang tight. We don't exactly know what's going to happen. So this is a very unique position that homeowners are in right now because prices have gone so high, and I mean so sky high. They really are probably going to come down a little bit, but it doesn't mean that the market is absolutely crashing. The population growth with Gen Z coming into it as well, they are ready to move. They are ready to find their next home. So you have a whole new market that is coming into purchasing a home. The issue is that they need homes that are a little more affordable, and until those interest rates start to come down, they are really going to be priced out of the market. So if you are somebody who is very, very much thinking you need affordability in homes, you want people to have affordability, you really need to be hoping for those interest rates to come down so these younger people can go out and afford some homes. Now, on the other hand, that may be a problem for some of you sellers who are trying to sell at the highest price ever in your market. So there is this give and take, but just because you're at the highest price in your market does not mean that there's not still some profit in that house for you from when you purchased it many, many years ago. Also, the work from home trend. I mean, we have a whole new world of people who are working from home, and therefore their spaces can be different. They might be bigger. They might need a different office, and they can work from almost anywhere. And now maybe what you're getting is communities that are far away from the urban areas that are now more popular. I know I've seen that in the Chicagoland area where the homeowners have really pushed out further because there is a lot of work from home trends. So there are people who are looking for different types of inventory further out. So that means for some of you homeowners that are maybe in a little bit more rural area, you also do have that opportunity for people who are pushing out and who can work from home. So we all have heard there's been low inventory, and that's for a couple of reasons. One is that the new home builders have not been building as much as they have in the past, and that really does affect home ownership in lots of different locations. I'll tell you, both the Chicago market and the Florida market is a little different because the Chicago market near Chicago doesn't have as much land for new homes in that area. So it's a little bit different than the Florida market, which is definitely going to slow down. So there has been sort of a persistent shortage of new homes construction in certain areas, which definitely can affect what is available. But the biggest thing affecting, I think, inventory is that sellers are holding off. And the reason they're holding off is because, they might have a 2 or 3% mortgage, and maybe they're thinking about downsizing. Maybe they have a 5,000 square foot home and they want to downsize to a 2,000 square foot home. The problem is that the mortgage rates are so high right now that even if they go and purchase that new home, they're still going to be paying the same amount as in their big home. So they think, we're going to go through all of this and we're going to end up with a smaller house and we're going to pay for moving costs. It's not beneficial for them to move at this point. And so that is what I see as really, really the big indicator of this kind of high market, high stagnant market where prices just continue to go up. So now when you're looking at what all these experts are saying, there's going to be a huge crash. Well, when you think about what homes were 2 years ago, I mean, I know in the Chicagoland market in my area, homes went up over $200,000 in the past 2 years, the average price of a home. Now, does that mean as a seller that if you sell, in a year from now, that you've actually lost money? If you've been in your home 20, 30 years, does that mean you've lost money? No, it means that you lost an opportunity to cash out at the highest point on the market. But your home is not always an investment tool. So what I mean by that is that your home is where you live. It's where you've raised your family. It's where your memories are made. And it's not always about the end dollar, about the end win. It's about, have you had an amazing life? Have you had a wonderful life in your home? Are you going to cash out of your home and cover the costs that you've put into it? So I want you to kind of take a step back and think, all right, let's put this into perspective. If we don't sell now and maybe we lose $100,000, is that going to make or break your financial future? So if you were to sell for the same price that your home sold 2 years ago, would that make or break you in the future? Now, the issue is that if you were trying to sell right now, and you're looking to buy something, the prices are incredibly high on that side too. So what is best for you in this situation? So I don't want you to worry too much. I want you to take a step back and say, okay, maybe the market is crashing, but maybe that's also an opportunity for us to find a house on the other end that we want. Maybe we won't overpay on the other end. So there are a lot of ways to look at this. Maybe this will allow the new home buyers to come in and afford a home, something that we all had that opportunity to do when we were younger, and now they really can't. So while things may change, I want you to take a step back. I don't think everything is falling off of the ledge. I also want you to look at your local market. Are you in an area where people are coming into? Are you kind of in a second home area? Where are you? It all depends. Are you people coming into your state? So that's also a big deciding factor. And, while I do follow national trends, I really don't apply them much to my local market. And that's because those local agents really have the feel. They really know from day to day, week to week, are buyers coming to homes? The national advisors, they don't feel that. They don't necessarily know that. But the local agents absolutely are aware. And that's why you need to get in tune with your local market. Absolutely. Find out what's going on in your local market, because don't fall for the clickbait necessarily. Maybe what's going on is not as dire as you're really thinking. So I do have two concerns that I think are probably pretty significant. So refinancing issues. Now, many people were told to buy the home and date the rate. And I never used that because I didn't really like it. But here's what that is maybe you've bought a home and you paid a lot of money for it and you had a high interest rate. And so you hope, well, when interest rates go down, then I can refinance my home and my rates will be lower. Here's the issue. A couple things that you have to understand if you're going to do that. In order to refinance, you have to make sure the home appraises out. Now, if the market is going down, your home may not appraise, which means you might not be able to refinance. This is a really big deal that I don't really see many people talking about. So the appraiser's always using homes that have sold recently. So maybe you bought a home at a high price and now a year later, 2 years later, you're seeing everything in the neighborhood sell for $100,000 or $200,000 less than what you paid for your house. There's a good chance you might not appraise. Now, if you don't appraise, you're going to have to come to the table with additional money if you want to refinance. So many people who were told that they needed to buy the house and date the rate, well, they might end up marrying that rate if they're not careful and if they don't have extra cash to come to the table to put towards their refinance. The other real concern that I have, and this is a true concern across the whole country, and I see it really, really high in Chicago, is the property taxes are continuing to go up. When I'm talking about property taxes, I'm in an affluent area on the North Shore of Chicago. That's where my team is. But when I'm talking about like property taxes, I'm not necessarily talking to those people. I'm talking to people who are on a fixed income. Maybe they've been in their home for 10 or 15 years. Typically, we've got a lot of suburbs in Illinois that, aren't as affluent. So these people are having their property taxes go up year over year over year. And they're on a fixed income and they're not planning on selling their home. Maybe it's paid off. Maybe they have very low mortgage. They can't afford to move. So every year, the money that they have to pay to the state is going up. I see that as a huge, huge issue. I don't see that stopping either. And also, as with everything else, I'm seeing the utilities prices going up and I'm seeing insurance prices going up all over the country. In fact, there are some insurance companies who won't even insure in certain areas. I know in the Florida area, it can be very, very expensive to get insurance. And again, that's another reason why people are having to sell their homes, having to sell their condos because they cannot afford these fluctuating costs that are coming onto them. So those are a couple issues that I want you to pay attention to. So I'm going to give you some practical advice to keep one of your largest investments still high. So I want you to stop looking at the valuations of your home on a daily basis. Just please stop. If you're not selling, just stop. Okay. If you are selling, then you need to get an agent to find out if those numbers are correct. Stop looking at those on a daily basis. I want you to start looking at how you can create value in your home to make your home more saleable when you do go to sell it. How are you going to make it more valuable? You guys know I've done this video that I think is going to be kind of the guideline for how to understand how much money you should put into your home and what you should spend your money on so you're not overspending. So when you go to sell, you'll know if you're going to be a profitable homeowner. So I have that video you guys can watch. We'll link it at the end of this video. In addition, if you need that document written out, and if you want to find out exactly what category your home is in, whether it's restoration, restored, modern move-in, surface shine, concealable condition, or unpolished potential, I've got that quiz for you in my seller's playbook. And if you've downloaded it before, you need to download it again. You need to find out exactly the category you are in. Then you need to find the percentage that you need to spend in order to get your home ready to sell. I promise you, this playbook is going to help you turn your most valuable asset into your most profitable. And everybody asks me, when is the best time to sell? I want you to know you need to sell when you need to sell. That is the best time to sell. I don't necessarily want you waiting, okay? You need to talk to a local agent about when the best time is, when you shouldn't sell. But if you need to sell, I don't want you to wait until you hear after the Super Bowl. I don't want you to wait until you hear a spring market. I don't want to hear anything about that because you don't necessarily know what is going on in your specific market. So I want you to know that because I've worked with thousands of people, I can make statements like this. A lot of people who are maybe on YouTube are not as experienced. It doesn't mean that their opinions are not valid, okay? These clickbait videos you're watching or articles that you're reading, it doesn't mean what they're saying should be ignored. But I want you to take it with a grain of salt because they are not seeing your local market. They are not seeing my local market. They're seeing data from up top, which is generally not always indicative of your local market. So you can become a profitable homeowner by doing a couple of things. First, subscribe to this channel. I have so many videos. All I'm talking about is how to make you a profitable homeowner. That is it. I want you to join our Facebook group where we have thousands of people in there who are uploading pictures of their home. Should I change this carpet? Should I replace this door? What should I do about agent commissions? And our members are talking in there. In addition, you will get one-on-one feedback from me and my team about what you should do, how you should get your home ready to sell. As you guys know, I'm always there. Join our live sessions every Monday where you can interact with me and ask me questions. I want to help you get your home ready to sell fast for more money and become a profitable homeowner.